Right back in. It's 7 after 8 o'clock on the morning show at WHYN News Talk 560. Brad Shepard here with Bo Sullivan. We need you on this.
No, either way, it doesn't matter.
Either way? Oh, no, now you're in stereo. No. On that microphone over there. Joining us live in the studio is your candidate for Congress and facing off against incumbent Richie Neal. We have Tom Wesley back with us this morning. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning, Brad. Good morning, Bo.
It sounded to me as though you wanted to, quote-unquote, set the record straight.
Well, I just came to say shame on our 22-year incumbent, Richard Neal. I can't believe what I heard yesterday on the radio. He is misrepresenting the facts, and he's also accused me of being unpatriotic. So I thought I'd take this segment this morning to address that head on.
Well, before you do that, maybe you'd like to reframe what you're responding to.
Yes, he has actually described me as an offshoring expert and has described and accused me of offshoring hundreds of jobs from my employer in Milford Waters Corporation. And that is absolutely untrue. We have not offshored a single job to Asia or any place else. And in fact, during the course of the 6 years, I've been responsible for global restructuring, in manufacturing. I am a manufacturing expert. We've actually increased employment in Milford by over 200 jobs over the course of 6 years. Very proud of that. We've taken many of the savings that we have done from this restructuring and invested over $70 million in the plant there. What I find unconscionable is that he didn't validate any of these accusations at all. And it could have been easily done with a phone call to the company. It could have been a phone call to me, for that matter. And then to characterize that as being an unpatriotic act is, to me, unconscionable. And I'm a guy who's served in the Navy, worn the uniform, been on the pointy edge of the sword. And you really got my dander up there.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds. Well, do you have a sense of where that information came from that the congressman was utilizing in those comments?
Well, it's probably from a blog site somewhere, and I would have expected that a 22-year incumbent would have done some more market research here and asked questions more directly, but it's not true.
Okay, what about the letter dated November 8th, 2003, letter to the editor that you penned?
That letter to the editor talked about U.S. companies, U.S. manufacturing companies, needing to accelerate change lest they lose to foreign competition. And in 2003, we had advantages that they needed to capitalize upon in order for U.S. companies to embrace things like lean manufacturing and big change initiatives that were going to keep them competitive and maintain the advantage in total landed cost that U.S. manufacturers had over Chinese and other Asian manufacturers. And in fact, that ball got started rolling in the year 2000 when Richard Neal signed the most favored nation status for the People's Republic of China. And in 2000, we had a balance of payments deficit of about $87 billion with the Chinese. Now we have a balance of payments deficit of about $300 billion. And 2.4 million jobs later, there's blood on his hands as well. So, I've done everything I can to make my manufacturing and my company as productive as possible and as efficient as possible. And we, in fact, have transferred products abroad, but it didn't cost us a job. What we did is we transferred excess capacity abroad and saved money in doing it. We saved it because the U.S. tax rates are so high compared to places in other jurisdictions where they're so low that it makes financial sense to do that. And those are consequences of the House Ways and Means Committee, where Congressman Neal serves and has served for many of his 22 years in Congress. Those are consequences of his actions to not make U.S. companies competitive abroad. I've done all I can do to keep jobs here, but it's the congressman who set this in motion.
So it sounds to me as though you're saying that the letter that Bo made reference to that you penned is the
it was a warning. It was a warning to.
Is it a matter of interpretation that the congressman perhaps made his remarks based on his interpretation of that letter, not some errant blog? Is that what you think is possible?
Well, he had a copy of the letter. He waved it in front of me at the so-called debate on WGBY the other day. And it's actually a marvelous letter. I don't have a copy of it on me at the moment, but I can provide that to you. And in fact, we should probably post that. It's a letter that's warning U.S. companies to embrace change and be as competitive as possible because the rest of the world was catching up. That's what that letter was about.
Okay, well, so now where do things stand in your campaign in these waning days? What else do you want to get out there? This is the opportunity to do it, Tom.
Well, look, we've been trying to have face-to-face debates with Congressman Neal. And the 22-year incumbent ought to be willing to face the people and answer questions. And what we had was a very compressed 30-minute question and answer series on television on WGBY. But I've actually appeared in 2 open chair debates, one on Channel 22 and one on Blackstone Cable Access that he was supposed to go to. So he's not even confronting the people. He won't take questions from the audience. So we have one more debate, so-called debate. It's actually billed as a candidates forum at the Milford Area Chamber of Commerce at the Myriad Ballroom in Mendon tomorrow. And in fact, unconscionable as it is, it costs $45 to go. So what I've done is I've put out a press release and I've said, look, if you want to come and see your congressman, I will pay that $45 out of my own pocket because no congressman ought to be charging to have access to them. This is not a fundraiser. This is an opportunity for the constituents to ask questions and to get them answered.
Is he collecting the $45?
No, he's not collecting.
Oh, so he's not charging.
But this is the forum that his staff demanded. And ironically, the Milford Area Chamber of Commerce is comprised of 10 towns, 5 of which are outside of the district. And this is not open generally to the public. I mean, if you want to go, you have to pay your money. And I will pay anybody's admission fee to come to this because I think it's that important.
So they should contact your campaign if they want to
contact
do so.
my campaign. They can just show up there. The information's on the website, tomwesley.com, or actually the repealneal.com website also will give you that information.
Well, okay, we're at the end of the segment, Tom. We thank you for being here in person this morning. I suspect we'll talk to you again before November 2nd. Where are you going to be today?
Today we're going to be at the Eastfield Mall about 11:30, but I also want to say we're going to have a town hall meeting in South Hadley High School Monday, October 25th, and we'll have a microphone there for Congressman Neal, and we're going to have people in the audience. We're not stacking the audience. We're going to have anybody who'd like to come. South Hadley is not exactly a red town in this district. And we're going to go out there and we'll face the music. We invite him to come and we'll bring a microphone just for him.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Good luck, Tom.